goals of educate, engage, and advocate. These goals are outlined well in our strategic plan, and that can be found on our website. We've done some great work over the course of the last year, and we'll continue to build on those successes and continue to add value to our program. And I'd like to hear more from our membership on that. Now, to many of you who are my coworkers, peers, former boss, Scott Crumley, thank you for this wonderful event. Allies, sponsors, advocates, and friends all working together to change the world through infrastructure and provide access to the opportunities it provides. I stand here before you humbled and honored. I'm grateful that you've entrusted me with the responsibility to follow in the footsteps of some of our previous presidents and chairs of this great organization, and you've met some of them today. I'd like to thank past President Mike Jellin, who's not here, for meeting me in 2017 and having lunch with me and asking me to chair the legislative committee for ACEC. I'd like to thank past President Rizwan Siddiqui, who also was not here, for inviting me to a position on the board in 2019. I'd like to thank past President Mike Retton for being a great mentor. I'd like to thank past Presidents Andrea Ryan, who's here, Pedro Capistani, and Jim Hoffman, of course. And we've acknowledged some of the other past presidents, which I think is very important for this volunteer organization. Lastly, I'd like to thank Mac and Anna, who are the backbone and faces of this organization. And if I can help it, you'll be seeing their faces more. I want to thank them for providing the guidance, the talking points, and all of the support. Literally provides talking points for us. Today, I did not use Mac's talking points. I would thank you, Mac. I would like to recognize our committee chairs who play a very important role in the organization. I can't say it enough, it's a volunteer organization. We are all very busy. I'm just gonna read their names really quickly. Norelis Florentino, Jackie Glover, Kathleen Lineham, Jenny Bowers, Sean Rousseau, Mike Parada, John McDowell, and Arpan Patel. And just give them a hand, please. Now I have a few more things that I'd like to say here. The gravity of this moment is not insignificant to me. It's not lost on me. Those that know me know that I'm passionate about inclusion, mentoring, advocating, and deliberately providing a hand up, not a handout. I recently read a quote from Howard Schultz's book. He's the founder of Starbucks. He said, "Sometimes solutions are more art than science." Many of us are leaders at our firms, and with that comes significant responsibility. We got a tremendous amount of talent, wisdom, and experience in this room. You are the decision makers. You are the mentors, you are the change agents. Yes, we are making incremental change, which I recognize, but as a leader, I'm not satisfied with the pace. For example, in the past 16 years, we've had only 2 women presidents of ACECMW. Today, our board is filled with highly talented, qualified women who are ready to lead. But this did not happen by accident. This was intentional. Leadership made the necessary efforts to identify the talent, advocate for them, and then put them in positions to succeed. I have great mentors like Mr. Andrew Bonds, who's been in this engineering business since 1980s. And he's constantly in my ear, just telling me about how the business has evolved. And he's not satisfied about where it is yet. He continues to fight for economic inclusion and continues to inspire me to expand my leadership. As someone who strategically has not been very vocal on issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the professional environment, I'd be personally disappointed if I did not respond to our current climate regarding social and political tensions and the divisions that we see today. We can do better. We must do better. It starts with the leaders in this room. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people. but the silence over that by the good people. I ask you good people to integrate and embrace the principles of diversity, equity, inclusion, and policy at your companies. One thing the pandemic has taught us is that we can pivot successfully to new normals. A new normal can emerge from the leadership in this room that identifies a sustained pathway to equity that permeates all that we do. A new normal ensures hiring and promotions will be reflected not just at the lowest levels of the company, but at the highest levels of the company as well. The quality of our workplaces will be enriched as bias is minimized and unacceptable norms are challenged, and leaders are developed with these principles at heart. A new normal will expand the benefits related to project delivery and project development, and who benefits from these projects. A new normal is dedication to opportunities for equitable employment in populations that are not well represented in the workforce. A new normal is demonstrating a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion by getting new ideas from new people, new friends, and new faces. And when I talk about inclusion and representation, I speak about all of those categories: lifestyle, gender, age, discipline, socioeconomic classifications, and it does not exclude anyone. So what I'm asking you to do to support these priorities and creating pathways to equity through inclusion is help produce and foster a culture that identifies, advocates, trains, and empowers individuals. Bring them to the organization's meetings. I'm not asking to exclude others. I'm asking to also bring underrepresented populations to these meetings. Be intentional. Be intentional on expanding opportunities. If it weren't intentional, it doesn't just happen. Again, I'll use the example of our board. So join me, good people, as we use this extraordinary opportunity with the bipartisan infrastructure law to build sustainable infrastructure in stronger American communities. The infrastructure bill is bold in its attempts to spread opportunities that build prosperity and communities of wealth while delivering first-class infrastructure, and we can do both. I want to leave you with this quote from John Fowler, who was a 19th century agricultural engineer. He says, "Engineers are not mere technicians and should not approve or lend their name to any project that does not promise to be beneficent to man in the advancement of civilization." So, most of this speech today was inspired by a good mentor of mine. It's ASHTO's president, Dr. Sean Wilson. And with that, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be the chair of this organization this year. Thank you.